back to another exciting episode of Talk 122 with your superintendent, Dr. Terrell Yarbrough. I have a special guest here today. For those that don't know who you are, first of all, I would like for you to introduce yourself and the community, foundation that you work for.
Yeah.
Hint, 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 hint.
Yes. So I'm Ciara Stahly. I am the development coordinator at the Community Foundation of Northern Illinois. Okay. I've been there for about 4 years. Okay. I've held 2 job positions there, but also I am a graduate of Harlem High School from 2012. Okay. So go Huskies.
Go Huskies, yeah.
So yeah, I'm really glad to be here. I'm honored to be here. So.
All right. Well, we're honored to have you on. And so starting there, when you talk about being a graduate of Harlem, high school, and being a part of our district, and now moving into a role where you scholarships and things of that nature. So talk a little bit about just being a Husky graduate, right, and that pride and what that means to you.
Yeah, okay. So hopefully I don't get a little verklempt here. I graduated in 2012 from Harlem, but I feel like myself and who I am, and like on a cellular level, is like the stuff that I learned at Harlem. Okay. And the teachers I was just completely inspired by. Okay. And a lot of that, especially like that zest for life, that zest for continual education, and a zest for like helping the community. Jennifer Stark is one of my huge role models, Mr. Livingston, Mr. Sweet.
Okay. So social studies.
Yeah, I was totally a social study. I wanted to be a history teacher because of them.
All right.
Obviously that didn't work out, but a lot of that I brought with me. And through my experience at Harlem, I got the opportunity to be a Rotary Youth Exchange student. So I went and did that for a year, which obviously was life-changing, and definitely set a course for my life.
So talk a little bit about that, the exchange, being a part of the exchange program, and because I know we still do things like that, and it's exciting. So talk a little bit about that, like for students who want to be a part of that, even now, about that process.
Yeah, so that process is like open right now. So if somebody is interested in that, please let me know. Okay. So Rotary Youth Exchange, technically every year, I know this year was a little bit weird, but usually you have to at least be a freshman going into your sophomore year, have, I believe it's a 2.0, 2.5 GPA, and at least 1 year of foreign language. Gotcha. And then you go and you meet with our club, which is the Loves Park Rotary Club, and your parents do too. And you're able to talk with them and learn a little bit more about the program because it is internationally known, because it's a completely, there's no fees associated with it, so you don't pay just to be a part of the program. You do have to pay to live within the program. But I got the opportunity to go to Sweden for an entire year for my senior year of high school, which was incredibly wonderful. I had classes that weren't in English, so you have to learn how to navigate a space like that, and you have to learn how to make friends, but also be a really great ambassador for the United States and for your school and your family. So if anybody is interested in studying abroad for a year or even a short-term exchange, please let me know. I'm the youth exchange officer for the Loves Park Rotary Club.
Okay, and then how can students get in contact with you?
Yeah, so the best way to contact us is just to go to, if you Google Loves Park Rotary, our website will pop up, and then my name is right there on the side as the youth exchange officer, and you can email me.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you for that, because I always wondered too, even though I knew how the process worked from an admin side, just talking with someone who actually went there and experienced it and all those things is great for students to know about. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
And so you mentioned a few of the social studies teachers that you really liked, and you wanted to be a social studies teacher kind of because of their influence. So I usually wait to embarrass people, but I'm just going to jump right in.
Good.
So who was your favorite though?
Who was my favorite?
I
won't answer that. I will not answer that.
No top 3. No.
This isn't going to be a James Corden situation where I have to if I don't answer, I have to eat something weird, right?
This is not that. So we'll leave it there because you did mention a few teachers, so that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
And so now with your foundation, with the Community Foundation, tell the audience about that and how. And the reasons why it's so important to have a partnership like that, with a school such as Harlem.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those that aren't aware, because everybody's like, what's a community foundation? Mm-hmm. That's usually the first question that everybody has. Most communities do have a community foundation. And the best way that I can describe it is it's the community savings account. That's the easiest way that I can describe it without getting too into the weeds. But in a nutshell, we serve our community. We have donors that come to us and say, I want to support maybe this project, or I want to support this type of student, or I want to support this organization. So we help them to create a fund to be able to kind of vehicle out that charitable purpose. Okay. So that's kind of what we do. My role there is a development coordinator. So my part is relationships and being able to tell about the really cool work that community foundations do. We're all known as like the best kept secret, okay. Right. Which we're trying so hard to not be the best kept secret.
Yes. Hopefully this helps with that.
Yes, it does. It does. Yeah. So the best way that we can partner with you all, and we really appreciate the partnership that we've had in the past, because it's extremely important. We know how expensive school is, especially if somebody's wanting to go into a vocation or credentialing or pursue a bachelor's degree or master's degree. It is extremely hard to pay for school nowadays. I'm still paying my student loans, so I wish I would have applied for more. So the best way that we can partner with you all is just getting the word out about our scholarship program. Okay. So the Community Foundation of Northern Illinois, we have we're the largest provider of private scholarships in Northern Illinois. So we have about, last year we awarded $380,000.
Wow.
Yes,
awesome.
I know.
That needs to be celebrated.
Yes, exactly. So all of our funds, we have about 115 scholarship funds. Okay. So donors come to us and they say, I want to support this type of student. So we work with them to create criteria. So each one of those scholarships has different criteria. Okay. That makes students really nervous because they're like, oh my goodness, right. I have to go and look at all of this different criteria and see what I'm eligible for. Okay. That is not true for us. So there's one application. So what the student does is when they go in, they answer a variety of different questions, about your academics, your extracurriculars, if you have any, sports maybe that you're involved in, what your passion is, what do you hope to go to school for? Okay. And then based on your answers, it's actually going to match you in the background with what you're eligible for. And you can apply for more than one scholarship and get more than one scholarship. Okay. Yeah, and then you just have to complete a very short essay. And when I say essay, people start to like get twitchy about it.
Yeah, I got a little.
I know. First of all, it's not an essay contest. That's the biggest thing. So if English is not your first language, don't let that deter you from anything. It's more about the content that's in there and how you're answering the question. Because the essay questions can be different. It could be, why are you the best candidate for this scholarship? Or it's, why are you passionate about engineering? Okay. So it could be all of those different types of things. So they just complete the short essay, which is about a page, 500 words, submit, and then you're ready to go. Okay. No, we try to make it as easy as possible.
Absolutely. And thank you for that. And so when you're in, for a lack of better words, like touting your organization, right? Like why is it so like important, and why kids should really want to be a part of it? Let's nerd out a little bit. Let's have some fun with it, right? Mm-hmm. Like why should kids really I need to come there? Because what we see a lot, especially around the times where kids are filling out, scholarships and things like that. There's a ton of scholarships that go like just unused. Like kids don't even, either they don't know about them, or like you said, the process they may think in their minds is too hard. What about your organization that makes it like, what, this is for every kid, regardless, right? Like you should apply for this.
So I've noticed with talking with students is their biggest thing is they don't see themselves as a scholar.
Okay.
So they think about scholarships and think, I need a 4.0 GPA. Right. I need to be involved in every single extracurricular activity that's ever been created. Or else they don't really necessarily feel worthy of those scholarships, or don't feel like they would be able to compete with the other students, which is not true.
It's a mindset, right?
It's a mindset.
When you said scholar, that is, right?
Yes, because it's a root term, and language is important, right? So the biggest part is, especially when we go into the schools, is myth busting that right away. All right. A lot of our GPA requirements is a 2.0. Some don't have a GPA requirement. It could just be that you shopped in Durand. Like, there's all of these different types of scholarships, and they're for all different types. It could be if you did a sport. It could be if you have financial need.
Okay.
Another thing that I hear kids say that they don't want to apply for scholarships is because they think that their parents make too much money. Because we all know when we fill out the FAFSA and we get that big old EFC number, which is, I have a lot of opinions on that, but I won't share them in a public setting.
Okay. All right. This is a free space, but
free space. That's recorded. But they think, well, my parents make too much money. I'm not going to qualify. Say yes, that you do have that. Because if you have to take out a student loan, you have financial need.
Right.
You know, if you have to get books are crazy expensive right now. So anything is great. Also, our scholarships are unique in the fact that you can use them towards the full cost of attendance.
Okay.
So it's not just toward tax exempt purchases like fees, books, board. Those are the only things you can use them for. Ours, you can use them towards the full cost. So that could be board, it could be books, it could be a laptop, it could be a coat because you're going to the University of Alaska.
Okay.
Like, it could be for all of those different things to make sure that we're removing barriers for students.
This is awesome.
And also we communicate with those financial aid offices a lot too.
Okay.
Especially if a student is getting quite a few scholarships, displacement might be an issue, where they're going to try to reduce their institutional aid to make room for this money.
Okay.
And you can see how that's not helpful to a student. And it's putting them at a disadvantage.
Okay.
So we work with schools with that too. So if that's going to happen, we have ways that we can try to help the student, because our main goal is the student. And making sure that those dollars go as far as they can for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's perfect. And thank you for going through that, because I feel that any student that's going to watch this, you know, at some point, when you're talking about free money, that is awesome, right?
And interest rates are crazy right now. I just bought a car and it's not pretty, y'all.
Yeah.
It is not pretty.
Yeah. I was thinking about making some purchases. I'm like, nah, it's just the interest rates are crazy. So thank you for that. And so for you personally, how did you get into this work and it becoming a passion for you?
Yeah. So I went to Rockford University and I studied psychology. I knew I wanted to be involved in like the human service field. I even interned at Harlem. I thought I wanted to be a school counselor at one point. But I actually ended up working at Goodwill Industries of Northern Illinois through their Elevate program. So I was working with GED students to learn life skills, soft skills, in order to be job ready. And it gave me, I saw how hard it was for a lot of them to get into school. Right. Because there's so many barriers and invisible barriers for some students that some of us never had to come up against.
Okay.
So it made me passionate about wanting to help students specifically. So I came across a job ad for the Community Foundation, and I had only heard about them in the grant-making sector. So I knew that they gave scholarships and they gave grants away to nonprofits, but that was about it.
Okay.
And I will admit that I didn't apply for any scholarships, which was not the smartest thing on my smartest thing I've ever done. But through that process, I got involved into the scholarship portion. That's when I was a scholarship officer. And it's absolutely incredible. First, what makes me passionate is the donors that see this huge need in our community and its students, and want to help them further their education and further their lives. When I was in college, I almost had to drop out because I couldn't afford books. And it was an awful feeling. I was a senior, I was almost there, and I couldn't afford my books. So I had to go to the retention office, cried a lot. That poor woman that had to deal with me.
Well, shout outs to her.
Yes, shout out to Dr. Walker at Rockford University.
Awesome.
But that's where something clicked for me. That I want to make sure that we are making this as easy as possible for students and getting the word out and making sure that it's available to them. And then just the donors are wonderful. You know, these people that are extremely generous with their treasure and wanting to make sure that students are successful is incredible.
Perfect. And thank you for sharing that story, because those stories are they're powerful, right? Especially when when you allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to say I couldn't afford books, when I was a senior, right? Not everybody does that, right?
Yep.
Not everybody's willing to share that. Because me, myself, I wish that I would have applied for scholarships, but I fit into that same mindset that you said, where I didn't think that I should even have been in college, right?
Yep.
That's what my mindset was, and I'm gonna forever owe Marquette because it was loans, right?
Yeah.
And so just having access to a program such as yours can be a life changer, for kids in our community. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate you coming on and sharing all those things. So before we conclude, though, is there anything else that you would want to make sure that our students, and the students in the state line area, so not just Harlem kids, although we love Harlem kids,
Yes.
but
Go ahead.
that you would want to share, for someone that may see this, and even parents as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So biggest thing is we have a very big community scholarship fair that's coming up on December 6th.
Okay.
So that is not only going to have us there, but it's going to have all of the external scholarship providers in the area. There's around $1 million in aid just at that event. I can't just tout that enough because
yes,
right. Everybody gets so overwhelmed with where to find scholarships, and they're scholarships.com, and you're competing on a national or international level for scholarships. This is stuff that's right here in our community.
Okay.
And a lot of these go unawarded every year because they can't find applicants.
Okay.
And this is not just for high school graduating seniors, it's for current college students, it's for GED students, it's for vocational, it's for credentialing, but it's going to be December 6th at 5:30 at Embassy Suites.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
so you'll
cool.
get an opportunity to walk around to the different booths, to the different representatives, and talk more with them. We're also going to have concurrent seminars that are going to happen. So we're going to have the Community Foundation Scholarship in-depth process as a seminar, and then also the Rock Valley College Foundation and ISAC is going to be there to talk about FAFSA. What does that mean? Because FAFSA can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Okay.
And
Absolutely.
also it's tough.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that we're giving all of the information to students. So that would be the one place that I would tell them to go. Our application for the Community Foundation scholarships opens on December 1st
Okay.
and closes on February 1st.
Okay.
So, and then we're always here for questions, and anything you all need from us, we are happy to give it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So for the event, is there any brochures or posters or anything that we
Yes.
can have as a school and put it up
Yes.
and make sure our kids see it?
Yes,
Okay.
I know we do. We're going to send them through Peach Star, but I will
Okay.
definitely get those sent out to the counselors. That's usually how we get them out. But yeah, that would be the major thing. Also, in Youth We Trust, that would
Okay,
be something
yeah.
I would also want to mention as well. So in Youth We Trust is the Community Foundation's Youth Philanthropy Council. Like I said, the Community Foundation is a grant maker, so they have nonprofits write grants to us to
Okay.
give money for projects that are charitable projects that are going on in the community. So in Youth We Trust is kind of a mini that. So we have a group of about 35 high school students from around the 4-county area that get together on a Saturday, and they create and market a grant application. And the coolest part about it is the applicants are also students. And they don't have to be high school students. They could be elementary students.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
so they write an application to them, and our group, the council, reviews those and then selects those, which is a really cool opportunity to learn on both sides about grant making, about our community.
Yeah.
It's also just, I wish I would have learned how to grant write
Absolutely.
in
Well,
college. Oh my gosh.
I need to know how to do that now.
I know,
like-
me too. So
that's
it's just
cool.
a great opportunity, and also for young people to partner with nonprofits to understand how integral they are to our community. Because we think, oh, nonprofits, that's nice,
Yeah.
but to learn about what they do and the inner workings of our community and how they're integral to that. So if there's any clubs at any of the schools that maybe
Okay.
is thinking about doing a project and they need some funds, apply.
Oh, you said the
Apply.
magic word. I think that's gonna.
Yes.
So that's good. And so I like how you start young too, where you include the elementary students as well, right? And so I don't think you can be too young to start learning about things like
Yes.
this. And so that is great. All right. So before you go, 2 things. One, I know you wouldn't tell us who your favorite teacher was, but your favorite experience at Harlem. something that is, when you think of Harlem, boom, that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Being a student. Yep.
It's going to be a little braggy. I hope that's okay.
That's okay.
Is that,
Yeah,
is that allowed?
This is your hey, this is your moment.
My bright and shining moment
Okay.
was when I was in Mr. Livingston's class.
Okay.
It was for modern history. It was a debate class.
Okay.
It's hard to remember the name of
So
the
Mr.
class.
Livingston is getting some shout outs. Okay.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
That's awesome.
That's where I learned how to convey a thought and critically think in the moment. I was the only freshman allowed in that class.
Okay.
And I ended up winning the whole thing, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the
That's
whole
awesome.
entire world. So not much intimidates me when it comes to talking to people and persuasion
Okay.
because of that class. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Planted the seed. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. And so what we do with our guests as well, the ESPN shot there. We want to see if you can make that shot. Some have made it. Others have went down in flames a little bit.
oh yeah.
No pressure.
Okay.
You know, just coming off of that last comment about public speaking and you not being afraid. Let's see if you
Yeah,
can do this.
okay. I used to have one of these when I was younger.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
there
yeah.
was like a whole thing that you
As
used
you
to
can
do.
see, the string is coming apart now, and
Yeah. So I'm just gonna test it out a little bit.
All right, let's
Do I get a test shot or
you
something?
can have a test
Okay,
shot.
okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Ah,
and when I was
almost. Okay,
overzealous,
so you're ready?
overzealous.
This is the opening
This-
night for NBA too. So
Yep.
okay.
Oh.
Ooh, I liked your first shot better.
I was over here or over here. Too much or too
That's
little.
all right. Well,
That's okay.
But again, thank you for being on.
Thank you.
Thank you for obviously sharing all the information that you did, with us, and then being vulnerable, as well, and sharing your story. I think it can impact, a lot of kids. And so, as we again talk about, your role and your passion and making sure that all kids feel like they can apply for a scholarship, right? That is critical, So again, I appreciate you. So. Again, thank you everybody for tuning in to another episode of Talk 122 with your superintendent, Dr. Terrell Yarbrough. As always, thank you for listening. I am Harlem. You are Harlem. We are Harlem. Take care, everybody.